Hello and welcome to the Cosmic Prayer. I'm Reverend.Laura and I'm feeling really excited to be here today with a wonderful super guest, somebody that I have known for a little while, and yet her influence and her energy and her consciousness have definitely shone their light. She shines her light. It cannot be missed. Her light cannot be missed. It's just so bright. And so I'm just feeling so excited and grateful to be here today with Mirna Lopez, Trevithick. Mirna, I have known probably for, well, more probably last couple of years, but more recently become closer with as a practitioner and as somebody that we've been, our paths have crossed with different projects that we are working on. And so Mirna is here really to share her journey of becoming a spiritual practitioner, the science of mind practitioner, and the work that she does in the world with Centers for Spiritual Living. Mirna is originally from Mexico City, and she currently resides in the United States with her husband, and she's a mother of an amazing little boy. And she studied in education in early childhood development. I can tell this. She has a very nurturing and wonderfully supportive way about her, and the goal of creating a world in which children are raised with love, respect, and empowerment. And it was in 2002 that Mirna discovered the science of mind, taking courses and workshops, and in 2016 became a licensed practitioner at CSL Dallas under the tutelage of Reverend Petra Wells. And one of Mirna's goals, one of them, we're going to find out more of her goals and intentions, but one of them is to be able to share the science of mind teaching with this Hispanic community. So in 2020, she decided to follow her calling and become part of CSL Merida in Mexico. It's an online ministry with Dr. Rebecca Pina. And this same year, she obtained a certification as a facilitator of workshops for parents in the Positive Discipline Association. And of course, Mirna is a part of the executive team of the center as a project coordinator, and also she leads the visioning committee, and she is a member of the Council of CSL Practitioners, which does amazing work within our community and in the world to bring practitioners together as one. Mirna, thank you for being here. I love you, and I just love reading about you and the work that you're doing in the world. Thank you so much for coming on to the Cosmic Prayer today.
Thank you, Laura. As I was listening to you, I'm like, is that really me? Are you sure you're reading my bio? Thank you.
It's you. Own it.
Yes, thank you.
And I love
take it in.
Take it all in. Soak it in, Mirna. And you know, and it was really interesting for me to read your bio and to learn more about you and the work that you do and the commitments that you've made to the Center for Spiritual Living community in different ways, and how you are living that and raising your son in a really positive light. I just love the way that you're kind of weaving it all together in a way that he will grow up and understand these teachings probably in a very simple and beautiful and loving way.
Yes, exactly. He actually he's been around this teaching since he was in the womb, because he's been listening to all of this way of thinking, new ways of thinking and beliefs. So yeah, he continues to that. So it's a gift that the greatest gift I guess I can give into this world, among others.
Yeah, I agree. It's a gift to bring our children in and then to immerse them in a way of believing about themselves, so that they can then grow up and have that knowing of their own worth and self-esteem and who they are. It's wonderful, isn't it? I love it that you're doing that intentionally.
Yeah.
And how else? It wouldn't be any other way. It wouldn't be any other way. So I'm really interested. What brought you to Science of Mind? What was it that you when you first discovered it, what was going on in your life that was like, okay?
Yes, exactly. Wow. It's been but it's been 2002, I think. Yeah, it's been a lot of years. What, 20 years? Oh my gosh, it's 20 years. 20 years since I've been in this movement. What brought me in was at that moment I was in a relationship, in a previous relationship, and my ex-partner or ex-boyfriend was part of. He was attending the CSL Dallas and was a little reluctant to it, but one day I decided to go, and I happened to see a flyer that said, "Change your thinking, change your life." And the little stuff that if something's going on with you, you can change your thinking, and then have. I was like, So I decided to go and attend, and I have not left the movement. So it's been since 2002 that I started learning about science of mind.
That. That's just so, I love that. I was talking about that, the affirmation or the idea that's on the back of the textbook, change your thinking, change your life. I was writing about that today. So that's amazing that you just mentioned that you happened to see a flyer and that just caught your attention and you haven't left. Right. You've wanted to learn more and more. And what has evolved for you? If you could kind of talk, I think, about your, from seeing that flyer and coming into a center and then really involving yourself with classes and learning, what was changing for you? And then how has that really kind of flourished over the past 20 years?
Well, it has made a huge impact since that year until what it is now. And what I said ex-boyfriend earlier, it's because that's what it is. So that person that I was involved with at that point, we're no longer together. And that was actually a good thing, because I was in a relationship that it wasn't fulfilling, it wasn't working, I wasn't happy. And so that was when I touched the steps of the movement, it really gave me the freedom to really realize what is it that I was doing, and what is it that if I was the co-creator of my life, what is it that I really needed to do or change? It took me a little while, but eventually I realized that, I wasn't in a happy relationship and I wanted something. My heart desires something different. And so that relationship ended. I continued in this movement. I had completely shift my brain, shift my light. Everything has changed from that moment to continue to learn and understand what the principles of science of mind are all about. So today I can tell you that the Mirna that was in 2002 is not the same that it is today. Yeah, not, I'm sure. Maybe a little bit. And the essence, yes, the essence has not changed. But I think actually the essence really came afloat. That's what it was. Because back then, Mirna feel about this little bit, and now it's like, no, I'm not little, I'm big. And I'm not saying this in an arrogant way. It's just like the light has come out alive. Mirna has come alive and has realized her full potential. And that's what I was, when you were reading the bio, I was like, really? Is that me? So that's the change that I can see. That's the impact between who I was and who I am today and continue to be.
And that is so beautiful, as I feel the transmission of your light through the screen here, and however many thousands of kilometers away we are from each other. Every time I'm with you online, I feel that. I feel the energy and the consciousness and the light that you are. So I'm really grateful that you saw that. You happened to see, I love that, I happened to see a flyer. I wrote that down. I'm really grateful you happened to see that flyer and took attention and decided to make those changes, or to allow yourself to be the fullness of who you are. Yes. And I'm just, as you're saying this and explaining, I'm wondering, so Mirna, did you have a prayer life or a prayer practice before that? Were you always somebody that had a regular spiritual practice, or is this something that developed over time as well?
I learned it through science of mind, and that's a new thing that I did. I didn't. My background is Catholicism, and so you go through whatever you need to do, first communion, baptism, all the kind of stuff. And I used to go to church only when it was important, I will say it that way. I didn't go to church every single Sunday or all that kind of stuff. I was not, no, I didn't pray. And I don't, yeah, actually, I don't remember praying. I'm sure I did, but not the way I have done it before now. Um, and actually, the way that now has been improved. Even when I started back in 2002, even probably 2000, I don't know, for the first couple of years, yes, you're learning about it, but it takes a while to kind of really understand. It takes a while to really, especially do our type of prayer that we do, which is Science of Mind treatment. It's not a way that everybody prays. So it takes you a while. It takes a while to understand what you're saying in those 5 steps, what are really you're connecting to. It's a practice. It's a practice that it doesn't. I didn't develop it right away. It took me a while to really feel and understand what I was actually doing. But in more, I'm not saying understanding within the. It is within the mind, but it's also more within the heart. Like it's more embracing what I was praying to.
Yes. And so as you began to have a regular practice of prayer and I'm sure other ways of tuning in with that connection of the divinity of who you are, what actually began changing for you?
Oh boy, a lot of stuff. I have to give you a whole list of it. It changed. Well, definitely the way my life was showing up, the manifestations, the experiences the things that I was experiencing completely changed. From being afraid to something that was only in my mind, it wasn't really real, to and feel that peace within, to actually really manifesting something, really seeing it right in front of my eyes. And so
Right.
that's what prayer has done for me. And I want to add that it's a prayer that I have done, but it's also a prayer that I have that has been done for me. So, and what I mean by this
Yes.
is, as you and I, practitioners, and I'm surrounded by colleagues of mine that are practitioners, and they have
Yes.
supported me in prayer too. So prayer has
Yes.
helped me individually as when I do it for myself and when others do it for me too. Because some days I can't pray. Some days I can't
Yeah.
calm my mind and I need someone else to hold that truth for me. So it has impacted my life in many different ways. Like I said, from being afraid, from being I want to share this story if I'm able to, from actually
Absolutely.
manifesting my little boy. So so he is a manifestation of prayer, because for many years I was not able to have a baby, even though it was my desire, my greatest desire, and it wasn't happening. And it was through the power of prayer, through the power of those practitioners that I know who you are. I'm not going to say names, but I have what I call my prayer warriors, and they help me through this. The process of praying and just seeing that baby become who he is right now. So that's one of the greatest things. And also, through issues in marriage or things like different kinds of stuff, right? So it's prayer. I think I use it now. Prayer, I use it every day. Even before we got in here, we pray. Last night I was praying with my son because he's sick right now. So we've been praying. So pray has impacted my life since I really decided to take it on.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing this, Mirna. I mean, this is like a golden thread of faith for anybody that's watching right now and hearing you talking about you being then able to conceive your son and what would seem like a miracle happening. And yet we know that in the one mind, it's healing happens when we shift in our own consciousness and in our own idea of who we are. And what a blessing that you have these prayer warriors that are here for you and knowing the truth for you. And I love it that you've talked about this, because not many people, I mean, the Cosmic Prayer has been here for over 2 years, and there aren't many that have come on and said it's really important to be prayed for and to surrender and to ask, because we don't always have the energy or the strength or the bandwidth to be sitting in prayer. I know that myself.
Yeah.
So
no,
yeah.
Making me a practitioner, it doesn't, I mean, I'm still human and I still go through emotions and things happen to me. And then, yes, sometimes I cannot see the light. Sometimes I can't see clear. And, I have a group of these people that I call them my prayer warriors. And when I am afraid, when I'm out of balance, I do text them and says, I need you to pray for me, because I can't see it. And it happened actually not too long ago, about a month ago. I was doing something and I was afraid. And I knew mentally that I was afraid, but the feeling wasn't there. And I'm like, I need to calm down. I can't pray for me right now, even though I kept saying I am safe. And like I was doing affirmations, it wasn't working. And I just sent a text. And I sent a request for my practitioner fellow mates to pray for me. And within the second, I just felt there was something different. So,
and of course, and we're one, so it would be that, because who we're asking or inviting to pray for us, we're one, so it's happening in the one mind.
And you know what the funny part is? When I send that text, two of those people that I send the text were together. They were having a meeting or something, so they got the text and they did the prayer together.
We are one,
right? So it wasn't like it was like in their home. I mean, yes, they were in their home and everything, but they did pray together at the same time. So it is, like you said, it's a part of the one mind. And I do ask pretty often, not because I'm a practitioner, I think that I have it all. I don't. And I do ask for prayer often, especially when I really need it.
And that is so humbling, because as practitioners, we know we can tap into this, and yet we know others can too, and so we surrender. And I'm just gonna do this because I know people are watching here right now, and we have a lot of people, and I want to just to acknowledge we have Robin here. Robin has her show on Rockin' the Love on a Wednesday. I work with Mirna. I can tell you that she's such a great example of walking her talk and practicing what she preaches. And that coming from Robin is amazing, because Robin is also somebody that walks her talk, and being able to ask is a gift you give yourself. That is so true. It's like this, having that faith that we can surround ourselves with people who love us enough to be able to be authentic enough to say, to ask and not feel embarrassed, or not feel that we'd be getting in somebody's way, or that we'd be interrupting their day.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what reminds me? This, and it just popped in my mind. It's like we talk about the law of circulation, and I'm talking about the law of circulation in prayer, right? So as practitioners, we provide prayer for people, and the way that it can continue the circulation is when we get it too. So we're feeding and we're being fed, and it is, as Robin said, thank you, Robin. It is a gift that we give to ourselves. So when I pray for someone, yes, it is the change of my consciousness, and yet it's a returning thing of it. So yeah,
and so also, as we're asking others to pray about us, we're also giving that gift, because whenever anybody asks me to pray, I know that I'm praying for myself.
Exactly.
It's like, okay, that's come up now. This is for me to deal with, even though someone else is asking me. So it's a lovely kind of idea, this gift also that we're giving back. When we ask somebody to pray for us, we're allowing them to do that healing in their own consciousness for themselves as well.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. So yes, we have hello, Laura and Mirna. Fiona, welcome here from Geneva. And Wayne, welcome in here. Pure love. Yes, this is great. We have wonderful people here tuning in to the Cosmic Prayer with Mirna Lopez and listening and understanding more of your story, and how, of course, with that demonstration, I'm sure that just kind of set you on a mission.
Exactly. If that could happen, what else could happen? Yes.
What else can happen? So, and I want to talk for a little bit about your work with Center for Spiritual Living, particularly the Practitioner Council, because I know that, you know, that as a practitioner, I feel that this nurturing in you, I just get this amazing feeling of nurturing from you always. And it's like you're holding this space for practitioners to be together along with others as well on the Practitioner Council to create this environment where practitioners can meet and share and be held in that love. What a beautiful gift this is. What was it that brought you to saying yes to being active as in that role?
Well. One of what helped me to say yes is one of that person that is listening is my beloved Robin.
Robin.
She's the guilty one. She is the guilty one. But it's a good guilt. I'm clarifying that it's a good guilt. Well, it was I don't know. It just, I didn't plan it. It just happened. As I said earlier, and you read actually in my bio. So I was at CSL Dallas for a while, and then during the pandemic, actually, I changed. I follow, and God talks to you and through me and everyone else. So I decided to transfer my lessons to Merida, so CSL Merida. And through there, it is a Hispanic community. So all of it is in Spanish. And from there was I think it was a convention or something. There was I think it was a practitioner gathering. And I started to, I don't remember all the details, but if Robin remembers, she can tap it on the comments. But it was about like it's so practitioner council, and especially a Saturday, there's an event that happens every Saturday of the month. They only for practitioners. It's a global community. It's a way of bringing practitioners all around the world. And I myself, from being in a center that is for Spanish speakers, I started creating a group so then they can attend it. And then from there I met Robin, and then we talked about it, and then we did some, I was at service without knowing that I was at service. And so we talked, and she talked to me about the Practitioner Council and all this stuff. And I was like, let me think about it. I talked to my husband, and he's like, oh, there's a lot of hours, blah, blah, blah. And I was kind of like back and forth. And actually I told Robin, I'm like, no, I don't think so. I think it's, have my child was at that moment was 2 years old. And I was very, very, very committed to him. And so I was like, no, I can't do this. And, back and forth, finally, I think I really follow my intuition more than my fear and more than the unknown, and kind of like, oh, what if this doesn't work? I think I just finally follow my intuition, and I follow Robin's loving way of saying, come on, you can do it. so I did. And it's been the greatest years. I have learned so much about Mirna and what is it to be a service for others? What is it to work together with others? What is it to work on my own stuff continually when you're working as a group? It's a good experience. And just, again, it's about giving and receiving. And I think that's what, as you said, you're describing me as a nurturing person. I love giving. And that's a practice that I think comes naturally out of me. I do it with my son. I do it with my friends. I do it with my husband. And why not to do it with my practitioner fellows? So, and then get together and learn about each other and see what's possible and just, congregate together. So that's how it started.
Wow. I feel like you this prayer that your prayer warriors said, and your son came into being. I feel like this prayer is kind of like for a bigger family for you. It's like, how many practitioners are there around the world that you are nurturing and mothering into being?
And you know what's funny? So this prayer, going back a little bit into having my son. So the prayer was for a long time. We prayed for a long time, but there was, and I will not forget this. There was the last prayer, and I knew at that moment that that was the last prayer. Like something happened. There was something. It's like I could actually feel that I was already pregnant. I don't. It's kind of interesting, and actually,
wow,
the practitioners that pray with me,
that was a prayer.
There is this little joke that I had that somebody I forgot how I said it, but it's like about like, yeah, who make this baby? My husband, myself, and my prayer partner, like, because it really feels like that. At that
it was
moment,
a group effort.
Yes, exactly. It takes a village to create a child, right? Or
it
something
does.
like that, in many different ways. But that's what it was. I after that prayer, there was no other prayer. It was done. It was really, really done. And I think it was kind of the same as with the Practitioner Council and any other projects that I go into it. You know, there's many prayers and things, and because I'm not perhaps in alignment yet, or I'm not really believing, and I have to pray until it is done, until I really feel it that there is no more to do.
I really want to talk about that, because I think that's a really powerful thing that you've just brought up, because sometimes we can give up, can't we, on our prayers, thinking even if it hasn't happened, then I don't even need to kind of keep praying, there's no point in me even to keep going. And I know that the Ernest Holmes was, it was pray without ceasing, just completely surrender to it, rather than thinking because it hasn't happened, that it won't demonstrate.
Right. And the interesting part is that it is, all those prayers that I did for many different things, every single prayer or that someone else did for me, every single prayer was not the same. Yes, it was set up for the same intention, for the same purpose, but the words, the way that God expressed through those practitioners or through myself was completely different. It was kind of like when you're cooking, you put it in medium and then you get it higher and higher until it is done, until it is cooked, kind of like that. So it's not like you put it all the way in high and, you'll have a soup. No, it doesn't work that way. You follow the directions, you follow the steps. And I think it happens the same way with prayer. Sometimes you can pray one time and yes, you know that you're done, that it is already, that there's no need for more. But there is sometimes that it is not that way. Sometimes you gotta pray a little bit more, not because it is not happening. It's because something within the consciousness is not sure. It is not at that place where I needed to be. And so going back a little to my story of pregnancy, it wasn't that, in the mind of the divine, there was already a child for me. But there was something within Mirna that, for whatever reason, was blocking that experience. Right. And it was through praying and peeling the onions of beliefs or whatever, the layers of it, of the onion of beliefs or blocks or whatever it was, right? It continued to peeling it until it revealed the essence of what it was, which it wanted to be a mother. And the same thing is with another thing, right? You can pray for I don't know, for having a house or for experiencing the perfect relationship or something. Not because you don't get it the first time, that doesn't mean you're not going to get it. It is changing, it is shifting the consciousness, and that's what prayer does. It shifts the consciousness of that what's praying for.
Yes, and so it's how we're evolving on the journey of becoming into the demonstration, as the demonstration appears into our lives. It's how what we're becoming, who we're becoming, and how we are knowing ourselves as the divine, as God flowing through us. It's that opening up and surrendering and allowing ourselves to be the flow of whatever it is that we're we're seeking to demonstrate. Because I know when I'm sometimes even with Jason, if I'm having, if things aren't going as I truly think they need to be going, or conversations or whatever, and we pray together, and then there's like a shift, and sometimes it takes longer. Sometimes it's like, oh, that's not going to happen now.
Right.
It's going to take a couple more hours or whatever. So it is our consciousness that we are working on all the time. We're opening up to that connection. And that's the piece I want to talk about with you here, is God, the divine. What does God mean for you?
God is everything.
Mm.
The way that I believe now is God is everything. It is you, it is me, it is my son, it is all of those people that are watching, it is outside in nature, it is everywhere, it is present. That's what God is. It had definitely changed from, and I think maybe most of us have had that way of believing what God is, somebody that is out there watching and all that kind of stuff. I certainly believe that in the past, but not anymore. It's you can see it in something really small. I mean, if God is omnipresent, if God cannot be, it cannot be present, right? And so God is everything, even in those that sometimes I don't agree with, or sometimes I don't like what they're doing, or whatever it is present. It is right there. We are all part of the whole thing. So God is everywhere. God is present. God is everything.
So as practitioners, we know that there are things going on in the world that don't feel good. They don't look good. They don't feel right or just or humane. There's many different circumstances that, I personally feel like I just want to kind of jump in and stop it all. And yet that's not how it's going to happen physically. So as holding this space for practitioners that are around the world, that you do with other great individuals that are on the Practitioner Council, how do you see practitioners kind of as evolving into the newness of these warriors that are active in the world to make a change, to change our thinking and change our lives? How can we do this even more profoundly now, to know the truth of what's going on behind everything else that we're seeing that we don't like?
The way I do it for me, and I can't say what others can do. I can only do my part, right? I think everybody, and even among practitioners, right? I can't tell one practitioner to do one thing. It's not my job. I think the first part of it is to accept that even among practitioners, and we are all over the world. Not because we're practitioners, that means we believe the same thing as in certain areas, or we don't even speak the same language sometimes. So it's like kind of understand our individuality, our ways of being. I think it's more about accepting the person individually, talking about things that happen out into the world. I have, and this is not a science of mine, prayer, but I think prayer is prayer. Sometimes when I see things happening out there that I don't like, the prayer that I go to is the serenity prayer. Why? Don't ask me why, but it goes God grants me the power to understand, to I'm thinking, sorry, but I'm thinking it in Spanish. That's why it's not coming in English. But it's like to release the control of having, or release the thought of having to wanted to have control over something else, and just to understand what's the difference of those things that you can change and those that you cannot change. Now, we can change it through consciousness. We can change it through realizing that we are all one. We're not the same, but we're all one. that there is individualizations of the divine, and that all of us create this world. So how can we work? It's through accepting each other, through know that each person is doing their greatest, their best with what they know. And I'm talking this among practitioners, yes, all fellow human beings, but since you brought it up into practitioners, how we can work together. And there's practitioners that have been practitioners for, I don't know, 20, 25 years, and I might not be in the same place where they are, and they are not where I am, and it is okay. Like I said, it's a continuation of the consciousness, and we don't have to be all alike. We don't have to think the same way. We don't have to pray. We don't actually pray the same way. You and I don't pray the same way.
No.
Your words come through you and through mine. So it's just, I think it's more into accepting each other, into claiming that together, yes, we can change the world. A world that works for everyone, but also a world that works for individually too.
Yes. Yes. And so what's coming through for me is I just see the letters and the word forgiveness. To have a forgiving heart and to be in that place of compassion and knowing that forgiveness is the prayer also. Forgiveness is also the prayer. It's also the way forwards, to release the idea of who I think someone is or should be, or who I think I am or who I should be, and come back to the truth of the light that is always here, shining through, living through, and forgiving my own thoughts and my own beliefs, forgiving myself for having those and keeping them and storing them as the way I see the world.
Well, and that's the thing about forgiveness. Forgiveness is not about others. It's about forgiving our thoughts, as you said, forgiving our own thoughts. It's an internal work, not an external work. And so as we change our consciousness, as we change our thinking, yes, maybe the demonstration will not happen right away, but it is about be the thing that you want to be. There's this song, be the thing that you want to be, with the joy and the family. And so if I want to experience peace, then become as that. If I want to experience kindness, then be that. If you want,
exactly.
So it's through the example that we can change the world. It's through our thinking, but it's also through the example that we change the world.
So it comes back to this idea is of who we're becoming on the journey of seeking the demonstration through the prayer. It's almost like the prayer is this kind of, or the thing we're seeking is kind of like this golden orb. And okay, if this is what I truly desire for my life and to be this way for my life, then there's work for me to do, to open up to experiencing, to accepting, to receiving. Because how can we want a certain way for our lives or to be a certain way if we're not even willing to receive it?
Right. Which you bring another point, another spiritual practice that is part of our movement. And I use it not as often as prayer, not as often as meditation, but I do use it especially for big projects or for a big thing or something that I'm willing to do, which is visioning, right?
Yes.
And it is, there's this set of questions that you get to ask. And one of them is what you must become, what must you embrace? So there is a highest vision for someone's life. But what is it that I must become? What is it that I really want to embrace into seeing this vision to become a manifestation? And yet there is also the release. Why must I let go of it? If I must let go of control, of judgment, of thinking that my way is the only way or something like that. I mean, it's that. So there is no coincidence and there is no magic in why we have those questions with envisioning. There is, just as we have the 5 steps of treatment, it is the same way with visioning. That's something that I'm learning more and more, and I can see it more into my life. Back then, like I said, And I'm going back then because I'm kind of, we're talking between 2002 and 2022. And I'm kind of like, wow, where was I? Which is a good thing to watch and to see. Don't stay there, but then also see where I am right now, and use what I had in the past also as a way of keep learning, as keep changing, and also as becoming, perhaps.
So what's coming through for me that I'm really grateful that you're bringing up here is that as human beings, we want things to happen very quickly. We want to say the prayer and we want it to happen within 5 minutes.
Before we start the prayer,
yes. And what I really just resonates in my heart is, as you're talking about, Mirna and is in your words, Mirna before 2002 and Mirna now. And if I really acknowledge that, well, that is 20 years. That's 20 years of saying yes, of being patient. Oh, I have my patience stone here. That's been with me for 12 years on my desk. And that it's an ever evolving process. We're unfolding and unfolding and unfolding and revealing, and things appear as we allow ourselves to open up to this. And the prayer is the tool along the way rather than the magic wand. And so what can you share about that for those that might be watching? There are people here. Hello and welcome in here. If you're feeling impatient and you want that thing to appear right now, Mirna, what would you say?
What would I say when I feel impatient? Perhaps actually that would be going, if you're feeling impatient, then it's maybe time to go pray or ask for prayer. Actually, that will be the first step to do.
Yes.
Go and ask someone to pray for you, because of course, I mean, like, I'm thinking, and it happens to be sometimes I want things right away too. I don't want to wait for the prayer. I don't want to wait a few years. I don't want to wait. But it is even through that thinking that is like, okay, I want it now. And there's like, I'm into kind of stopping the flow, right? And so it's like, okay, take a deep breath. And if you can't do the prayer by yourself, then go ask for help. Right. Ask someone to help you to see that there is the perfect time for something. Sometimes it doesn't seem like it. Sometimes, for example, in my pregnancy, I was 40 when I had my child, and the clock was ticking, and I was like, I wanted to be no more than 40 to have my baby. But I think there was this little impatience, and there was going like, oh my gosh, what if not happen? What if right, time is running and my body's changing and all the stuff, right?
Yeah.
And what helped me actually was somebody praying. As you said, this is, the show is about cosmic prayer. Prayer really works. And when one cannot do it for ourselves, then reaching out to those that can help us to remember, they can help us to know that there is a way, that the light is shining, even if we're not seeing it, that the perfect time for whatever thing that you desire is happening. That will actually bring peace instead of being impatient.
Yes. How beautiful. Mirna, wow. You're such a gift to life and to the Center for Spiritual Living community. You do so many things. And I know now here you're speaking in English, and your native language is Spanish. Yes. Spanish. And so you're very involved with the Spanish community in Centers for Spiritual Living. I don't even know what other Spanish communities you're involved with, but I'm sure that you're very used here within this community to meet with the Spanish-speaking people around the world. And so is there anything you'd like to share in Spanish? If anybody's watching right now and you want to send anything out to practitioners or to anybody that
Well, I'm
maybe...
sure there's Spanish. I know one for sure that is Spanish speaker.
Yeah, I just want to bring everyone in here.
Mi querida Teresa, gracias por estar aquí. Gracias. Teresa Valenzuela. She's also part of the Practitioner Council. We've been working together for a year and I enjoy working with you. So Teresa, gracias por tu apoyo. Gracias a toda mi comunidad de Mérida. Gracias a ustedes he descubierto muchas cosas acerca de Mirna y agradezco la oportunidad que me dan de compartir desde lo que sé, desde mi experiencia, pero también desde mi corazón. Thank you so much. Thank you. So that was my Spanish little thing.
Beautiful. Well, I didn't really understand it, and yet it sounded fantastic. So
I was just thanking my community in Merida and all of those that supported me.
Merida. We'll talk about Merida. I just want to notice here that here we go. Before I put this message up, I just want to see Teresa has sent a message in. Como no mi corazón?
Yes.
And I love that little picture in there. Beware, home of the wicked witch. I wonder what this is. Is this a book that you've written, Teresa, or is it one that you're telling us to read here?
Yeah, that would be fun to know. Yes.
That would be fun, yeah. So who do we have here? We have Margarita. We love you.
Margarita San Germán, she's also a Spanish speaker. She's a beloved friend of mine. She's also one of my... She's part of Merida, but also she has given me the opportunity to share what I know in Science of Mind. She has taken classes with me and with another fellow practitioner. And so seeing the impact of this philosophy in her life is amazing. So thank you, Margarita, for trusting in me. Muchas gracias, Margarita. La quiero mucho.
Isn't that's so wonderful when you, as you explain that you've, it was gifted to you in so many different ways, and you passing it on and you seeing the results of these teachings in others and how they're changing their lives too, changing their thinking, changing their life too.
Yeah.
So your community, Merida community, we have an answer here. No, just a sign. My little monsters too. Oh, okay.
I guess it's Halloween. Today is Halloween. Oh, I should have put something for Halloween.
Oh, yeah. It's Halloween. Happy Halloween, everyone. Okay. So let's just talk about your center, Merida. I'm going to put this up because you have an event, a beautiful event that's coming up on the 5th of November.
Yes.
Would you like to share and tell us all about this and how we can connect with it and tune in with it?
Of course. So as I was saying earlier, my new center is Centro para la Vida Espiritual Mérida, Centers for Spiritual Living Mérida, which is an online center and is that only Spanish speakers. However, on Saturday, November 5th, we are celebrating our 2-year anniversary. And so we're going to have actually our spiritual leader, Reverend Edward Viljan. He will be speaking at that event. It's 2 hours from 10 a.m. Mexico time. We probably have to check the times because now they change. So it's 10 a.m. Mexico time, which right now it's a mountain time from 12. The way that you can, if you want to participate in this event, you can, I think, Laura, you have my email. You can put it on the chat and I will be glad to give you the information. It will be through Zoom, so you will have to get the information with the link. But
okay. Do you have a Facebook page?
Yes, we have a Facebook page, Centro para la Vida Espiritual Mérida.
Okay, good.
And I can share, for those that you are my friends, I can share the event also. So then you know the link and everything about it.
So this is a celebration of your 2 years of being in operation, an online community, celebrating our individuality in community. I love that because that's just allowing us to be who we are and being as one in a community and celebrating that. That would be beautiful. That would be a beautiful experience. I'd love to tune in with that and come along and listen to Dr. Edward.
Yes, that will be so. I'm excited because it will be bilingual. And here's the cool part about it. I love this, and this is one of the things that we learn in the Practitioner Council. How there's practitioners all over the world, and yes, we do have every center, and every center is precious, and they have their own individuality into their center, and yet we are part of this organization called Center for Spiritual Living. So we are all part of the whole. So how can we celebrate our individuality, in this case, Merida, and celebrate in our community? There will be, Reverend Edward will be there. Some other people from other centers will be there. If you're able to do it, Laura, you can be there too, right? So it's about celebrating who you are, what your center has done, everything that is become to, or what you are part of it, and sharing it out there with the world. And who knows what the impact can do for those that can watch, and also those that are part of it. And again, it's about giving and receiving. And as you give, you receive. And as you also allow someone else to give to you, then that gets a gift for others.
Such a gift.
It is just all about, it's all about giving and receiving. Doesn't matter. You can do it in time. You can do it with your talents. You can do it with listening to one another. It's all about being there for each other. And so yes.
Mm-hmm. And that give and the receive, if we go back to that first thing you said, you happened to see a flyer that just wafted into your life, into your consciousness. It was being given to you, this gift. Change your thinking, change your life. And here you are giving that back into the world, Mirna, with everything you're doing, as you allow others to see for themselves that they can change their thinking and change their lives. And so this conference is this celebration is another way of you saying, yeah, I'm giving back, and it feels good, because as we do this, then it becomes the living prayer.
Right. And talking about giving back, I think, so if Science of Mind changed my life, and I am able to share these teachings by being a licensed practitioner, it's a gift, right? So one of the reasons that I knew what my goal and my desire was, right? Of course, change my life first and seeing how that works, but also share with communities, especially the Hispanic community. It has been my number one goal to share it, because as I tell my friends or those that take classes with me, or even my family, I'm not special. It didn't work for me just because I'm special. It can work for you. And so sharing it with my community, it's great to share it with English speakers, as I'm listening right now, and as I go into our organization, which is a great work that we all do together. And yet, for me to share it with the people that speak my language, that I speak their language, it is a great gift for me, because I get to see I get to share what worked for me. And they're free to take it or not. It's not like I'm imposing something. It's like, here it is. Yesterday, actually, I was talking to a person of my family, and we were talking about different things. And all of a sudden, she sent me a text, and she said, "What are those conferences about where you give those?" Because our center is in Spanish and it's online, and so we do Wednesday activities. I do have a daily practice from 9 to 9:30 with our Hispanic community, which is meditation, contemplation, and so I guess she has seen an announce on Facebook or something. So she asked me, she goes, "What are those conferences or things that you do?" I'm like, okay. So I share with her, and she's my cousin, and I only share it when the person is open. And I think I only share it because they see something different in me.
In you. Right. Something in you. Yes. And it's intriguing. And it's your light. It's the light that you are open to and that you're shining out. Right. And it's catching.
like I said, this without this philosophy, I don't know who Mirna could have been. I don't know. I'm really grateful for everything that has shown, and that little flyer. Even though I didn't want to go to see Dallas at that point, I am so glad that there was something within me that says go. And
you know, the number of people that I hear saying, a friend told me about a friend told me about a talk, a friend told me to come along to, you know, to hear this, and I didn't want to go. And it's amazing how, even though when they did, or like you're saying, you did because you followed your intuition, you followed your heart, and you knew there was a part of you that knew that your life, you needed or wanted to make a change for your life. That I think a lot of people, when they get to that place of, well, I've tried this and I've tried this and I've tried this. Okay, now I'm going to try this.
But you know what's important? That was a prayer. I think it's a way of being an answer, because so if, as what you just said, I was like, yeah, my prayer was being answered. I wasn't praying the way I know. I wasn't praying on my knees or anything, but there was something within my heart that desired something different. And I kept putting it into the law. At that point, I didn't know what I was doing right. And yes, I was planting the seed into that. And all of a sudden, it's like, okay, God within me knew and said, okay, here, you want to change your life? Here it is. Go Sunday to the service, and here it is. I mean, that's how it works. Sometimes we don't even know that the answer is right in front of us. And that's what prayer is. I mean, I think, I don't know who said it, but life is a prayer. Every word that we speak, it's a prayer, whether it is a word that you speak consciously or unconsciously, or a word that is positive or not positive, it is a prayer.
Yes.
And so the cool thing about this is now I can think more consciously, not all the time. I don't want to give myself that big of a credit, but it's a little more consciously of what I put, of those seeds that I plant in the life that I want to create.
Yes.
That's what prayer is all about. And prayer is my life. It is your life. As everyone's
I would love you to come back onto the Cosmic Prayer, Mirna, maybe in next year, and to talk about that, you know, how we can consciously use prayer, how we can really consciously use prayer for our lives. I would love that. If you were available.
Yes, thank you. You just put the seed in there. Well,
And Kathy, it's great to be here with you. Good day. And so many wonderful people have shown up and are here and are so grateful for you, Mirna. So many beautiful comments. Yes, what a heart to heart we're having here. So grateful that you followed your heart into Science of Mind. A friend dragged me into my first service and I've never left. There you are.
Yes.
I love it. I'd love to collect all of these stories, actually. That would be an interesting one of how.
You know, so prayer in Science of Mind, bro. I want to say one more thing, because I have thanked a lot of people, but there's one person that deserves the most thankfulness of all, and that's my husband. And without him and his support, I could not be doing. I mean, I am a mother. I have a 4-year-old there in the other room, right? And so without his support, to be able to be here, to be able to be also in the Prague Council, to be able to serve and Merida and all of those, without him, I could not done it. And he is also an answered prayer. He is
an answered prayer from the flyer that you picked up. Change your thinking, change your life, because you knew that you had to meet him, because he would be the one to support you with everything that you were about to be doing with your life.
Yes.
I love it.
So thank you.
Oh, Mirna, thank you so much, and to your husband and your beautiful son, and for being here. Thank you for being here and sharing in this past hour. It's gone so quickly. I could be here with you for hours just chatting. It's well, we're not just chatting. I mean, but I could put the tea on and and Mirna, if people want to reach out to you, here's your email address, and they can reach out to you and connect with you specifically for practitioner session work. you are available for this. And I'm
Yes.
sure that this would be dynamic if you are seeking a practitioner. Mirna is available for you for this service right now.
Thank you.
And we're going to finish here on a spiritual mind treatment, because this is the way we always finish the cosmic prayer. And before we do that, I just want to share with everybody the New Thought Media Network website. We're a global focus ministry, bringing programs and broadcasts just like this to the world, to humanity, every single day of the year. So check out the website, check out our YouTube station, because everything is on YouTube. These programs are kept forever, and you can go back and track and look at the playlists and find beautiful and inspirational talks and teachings and conversations just like this one. And of course, there's a donate button there on the website that you can tithe into. We were talking about giving and receiving. You can be have faith and be woven into the consciousness of the vision of this network and what we're doing. And we are going to complete the cosmic prayer today with a spiritual mind treatment. And Mirna, would you share the spiritual mind treatment today?
Yes, of course. Yes, of course.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for everyone that is listening. Thank you, comadres, and for all their love and their
You're welcome to
support
say it in Spanish, English, however you want to share it. That's fine. Absolutely, go for
Perfect. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So let's just take a deep breath. Settle in this moment, in this time, in this precious moment. In this moment where I know that there is only one life. The life is God's life. The life is present right here and right now. It is present everywhere. It is omniscient, omnipresent, omnibenevolente. Esta presencia se encuentra aquí en este momento y en otro lugar, en todos los que están aquí. Esta presencia es la que gobierna, la que crea y la que mueve el universo. Esta presencia, este poder infinito, absoluto, listo para decir sí, está aquí en este momento y en este lugar. It is in this present that I know that I am one with this present. Everything that I am is one with the divine. I am the perfect emanation of the divine, and as such, I know that I am one with God. And the same truth is for everyone that is right here, right now, listening. God is at the very center of each. And so knowing that it is perfect right here and right now. I know that this moment is precious. Remember then that the power of the word called prayer, it is always answered. Whether it is right here and right now, whether it takes a few months or years. In God, there is no time, only now. Así es que sé esto con convicción, sé que el poder de la palabra en oración responde en todo momento y en todo lugar. Sabiendo que esa presencia infinita fluye a través de respondiendo a ese comando de la ley, creando desde esa conciencia ilimitada, desde la conciencia absoluta que crea, que expresa una vida perfecta, una vida que funciona para ti, para mí, para todo el mundo entero. And so how grateful to know that this is already in the law, responding to my command, responding to my desire, knowing that it is done, that prayer really works, that the law responds. And so I let go of this time, knowing that this is perfect, that this is God. And so it is. Así es. Amen.
And so it is. And so it is. Thank you, Mirna. Thank you to everybody that's here. Blessings and love. and stay in the knowing of you are loved.
Thank you.
Until next time.
Until next time.